Coming up on Golf Central, two of the game's biggest names make huge statements. Jason Day's play on Sunday and Tiger Woods' future today.
People have written me off. I'm not that part. I'm not fertilizer. As far as my golf, I'm progressing. I'm getting better. Just give it a little time.
Just being able to have the conversations with Tiger Woods, to be able to pick his brain, really try and improve myself as a player. You can't buy that experience, and you can't buy those conversations. My main goal is to try and win as much as I can right now.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
It has been 9 months since we've seen Tiger Woods in competition, and the question still remains, when will we see him back at it again? Woods was asked about his return today at Congressional Country Club at the Quicken Loans National Media Day. So the speculation continues as we continue to follow this story. Great to have you with us tonight on Golf Central. I'm Lisa Cornwell. There is some good news for Tiger Woods, though. He says he's making progress, but just how much progress? Even Tiger doesn't have an exact answer for that one.
I have been practicing at home, and I'm progressing nicely. I'm hoping to play. I don't know if I'm going to play. That's the overriding question I keep hearing. When are you coming back? When are you playing? And I get it all the time. And if I knew, I'd tell you, because it'd be fun to know. It'd be nice to know that I am going to play on such a date, but I don't know. And I'm still trying to get stronger. I'm trying to get more pliable. I'm hitting the ball better. Everything about my game is coming around. Now it's just a matter of being consistent with it, and then be able to do that not only at home against the boys at Medalist and try and take their cash, but trying to come out here and do it against the best players in the world is a completely different deal. People have written me off. I'm not that part. I'm not fertilizer. So as far as my golf, I'm progressing. I'm getting better. Just give it a little time.
You have to love the fertilizer statement. That kind of made it. Great to have Trip Eisenhower, Rex Hoggard with us here to talk about all of that. Okay, so guys, and Trip, I'll start with you. After hearing from Tiger, and I'm sure we'll get to what we saw from Tiger today, is he further away than where we originally thought maybe a couple days ago about his progress?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when we were talking about him possibly playing Wells Fargo or even the Players, I mean, when we were speculating like that, now, to see Tiger Woods where he was today, and this thing is, he's got to get this right, Rex. I mean, I think you and I disagree that I think this is it. I don't think he has another bite at the apple. And here he was today, just 102 yards. And, of course, it blew up the internet, the fact that he hit not one, not two, but 3 balls into the water from just 102 yards. But look, okay, Russell Knox hit. He said he was tight, but Russell Knox hit 3 in the water at 17 at TPC. So, again, it's Tiger Woods. That's what makes it unusual. But he's got to get this right. Do not rush this process because, again, like I said, you and I disagree, but I had back issues, and I can tell you it's a tough thing to get through. He's had a couple of surgeries now, and he needs to take his time and get this one right, and it looks like that's what he's doing.
Well, you're right in as much as he needs to take his time. I will go back to the idea he is not fertilizer. He's 40 years old, and I know we talk all the time about him being an old 40 years old, but there was some good signs of progress that he talked about. The fact that he's at home, playing 18 holes, playing against his buddies in a competitive atmosphere, not the PGA Tour, not even close, but that's a step in the right direction. And you talk about all the speculation we heard. It was interesting. I mean, we talked about maybe him coming back at Charlotte, which seems forever ago. And I remember talking with Kim Huffam when I was at the tournament 2 weeks ago, and he said he never even talked to Tiger or anyone in his camp. So I think the only person, and I've contended this all along, that knows when he's coming back is Tiger Woods. His body will tell him when he's ready, and you're right. He's taking his time. He seems to be doing it the right way.
And let's face it, there's miles apart from playing 18 holes with your buddies at home versus the PGA Tour in 72 holes.
Oh, and I said this on the Monday Scramble podcast. I think he's duping us a little bit. There's no way that was full speed for him whatsoever. But we can talk about that off camera. Tiger also admitted today, now that he's 40 and he's dealt with a number of injuries, his approach to practicing and working out, well, it's much different than it used to be.
I'm one of those guys who used to hit a lot of golf balls. He used to sometimes practice 8, 10, 12 hours a day. That won't happen again. I won't be doing that. I won't be running 5, 6 miles every day like I used to. That's not happening either. So, you know, things are changing. Things have to be altered. My practices certainly are much more focused because they have to be. I have to be more committed on each and every shot because I can't go ahead and rake and hit 500 golf balls in a row. I'm 40 now, but I probably act like more like an 8-year-old. So I still think I can still do all those things. You know, when I first came out on tour, I was running 30 miles a week. It didn't really matter. I run 5, 6 miles and go play a golf tournament, go win a golf tournament. It wasn't that hard. But, you know, now this is different. You know, I've had knee surgeries before, and trust me, I'd much rather have a bad knee than a bad back. The nerve damage or nerve pain, anybody who's ever had nerve pain in their back or neck or anywhere in their spinal column, it is no fun. That's been the hardest part, is sitting still is how you get better. Okay, that's not in my nature. But now I'm to a point now where I can progress and now work out to get stronger and to start developing. But the initial part of it, sitting still and doing nothing, it was really, really hard. Those were hard times. And unfortunately, I've had to go through it 3 times now, and hopefully that'll be it.
He mentioned sort of the timeline there. Let's run through it in terms of when we knew about it. That began on March 31st, 2014, when he had his first microdiscectomy surgery. On September 16th the following year, he had the same surgery once again, and roughly 6 weeks later, a follow-up procedure was performed to relieve some ongoing pain issues. From the former world #1 to the guy who currently holds that title, what a week it was for Jason Day, earning his 10th PGA Tour victory in the Players' Championship. Today at Congressional, Woods was asked about his friendship with Day. It's a subject that Day also addressed shortly after his win on Sunday.
JD and I talk quite a bit, either via text or telephone call. Some of it's advice. Most of it's just giving each other crap. So we love to needle each other a lot. And yeah, that's the fun part of, about our relationship. But also then again, it can switch roles too, and where he'll ask me a bunch of questions about how his game can get better. And all I say is, I'm not going to tell you how your game can get better. Ask it the other way around of how I did it. And I just think it's fantastic how he's playing, how he's handling himself, how focused he is, and how committed he is to improving. You see a lot of guys just come out here and just play just for playing's sake. He practices with a purpose, and you can see it when he plays.
He texted me after the 63. He also texted me last night saying all 18 holes are just as important. He goes, I heard that you said 16, 17, 18 are important. He goes, all 18 are important. You have to stay in your world, try and extend that lead. And just being able to have the conversations with Tiger Woods. I mean, his 54-hole leads turning into wins has been very, very high. The stats is just amazing. But to be able to pick his brain, really try and improve myself as a player, especially having that friendship, you can't buy that experience, and you can't buy those conversations because, in this modern era, he was the greatest player of all time. And, I don't know if, it's going to be very hard for me to get to that point with what he's done, but my main goal is to try and win as much as I can right now.
This is Day's 7th PGA Tour title in his last 17 starts, and his 3rd this year alone. Only one player the last 10 years has won 3 PGA Tour events in a calendar year before the end of May. That was Tiger Woods, who did it on 3 separate occasions. Day talked about the run he's been on since last summer with our Live From crew last night.
It seemed to me, looking back at St. Andrews, the putt that came up short on the 72nd hole, your reaction was heartbreak, obviously,
yes.
And then to come back the next week and do what you did in Canada. I feel like that was the 7-day stretch that kind of flipped everything for you in your career.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just felt different that week at St. Andrews. It fell short, and I said it in the media center. it sucks being on the receiving end of that, not winning it. I know a lot of you guys up here have felt that way, and it's no good. I want to be the winner. I want to be able to win those tournaments and feel greatness. And it was in such a short period of time, knowing that I played great golf at St Andrews, knowing that I can turn it around and play good golf at the RBC Canadian Open, and doing that and winning really propelled me for that second half of the season, and then going on further to this season as well.
I'm calling it a turnaround. It's almost like an understatement. But when you look at all of these facts on their own, they're impressive, but you put them together, and it's hard not to compare what Jason Day is doing right now in terms of dominance with what we saw from Tiger Woods not too very long ago. I know that, Rex, comparing anybody to Tiger Woods really isn't fair, but I mean, seriously, when you think about what Day's done since the Canadian Open, he has just been on this incredible run and converting 54-hole leads and wire-to-wire wins. Is it safe or is it fair to somewhat compare him to Tiger Woods?
Oh, sure. What he's done over the last 8-9 months, I think that's absolutely fair. Adam Scott pointed out and said as much yesterday when we asked him about it in the scrum area. And to stay with the Tiger-esque theme, I think everything about last week was very Tiger-esque. Just from the way the week started, he took some slights. He took the idea that there were people who were saying that he can't play this golf course, and he used that as motivation, much like Tiger Woods has done throughout his entire career. The other half that really reminds me of Tiger Woods is this feels like the first time that Jason has ran away with a tournament with something less than his best stuff, which is what Tiger did best in his career. He did not have his best game this week, and to win by multiple strokes, that shows you the level of where his game's at. And he did it on a golf course that made him shade towards things that he doesn't like to do. Doesn't like to hit the 3-wood, doesn't like to hit the 2-iron off the tee. It was a very impressive Tiger-like performance.
Well, and the other thing, too, is you look at comparing his game to Tiger Woods in some ways. He's got the power, you know, and he's now stepped up the aggressiveness, which I like, because Tiger was always very aggressive, but picking your spots, and he's got the short game. I mean, I look at his short game. Now, there's one weakness in his short game, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later, but when Jason Day is going about attacking golf courses now, he's the best putter outside of 20 feet. He's got the best short game to save him when he's off. He's turning those bad rounds that would have been 72s, 3s, or 4s into 69, 70s. And that's what Tiger did routinely, because it's so tough to play perfect golf to all 72 holes. You're going to have a stretch where you don't have everything going. Jason Day's got the short game to weather that storm.
Rex, you talk about players, or Jason Day not having his best stuff. Nobody really, except for Ken Day and maybe Chappell, had their best stuff on Saturday because the course was so difficult. Looking ahead, the next big test on the schedule is the U.S. Open at Oakmont. You spoke with some players about their concerns after what they saw on Saturday and possibly getting into some dicey situations there.
Well, I think players were looking ahead because, Tripp, you've played Oakmont in the U.S. Open. I mean, I think everyone says, and I'd love to get your opinion on this, that it's the hardest of all the major championship venues. And, of course, players are going to look at what happened on Saturday at TPC Sawgrass and have some concerns about, are we going to see that next month at the U.S. Open? Adam Scott probably said it best, and his point was, and it was almost like he was making a plea when we talked to him yesterday about it, that just don't embarrass us. The players felt like they were embarrassed on Saturday at TPC Sawgrass. Talking ahead to the USGA, don't embarrass us. 15 under wins, 15 over wins, doesn't matter as long as everybody feels like it's set up fair. As a side note, everybody's going to be making scouting trips. Talk to Rory, talk to Adam. They're going to go the Monday, Tuesday after Memorial. Everyone's excited about getting to this more traditional U.S. Open.
Yeah, and traditional it is. In fact, the members joke that the USGA has to slow the greens down for the U.S. Open. And I did play there in 07, and I can just tell you they are a wonderful set of greens. They're very difficult, but they are fair. You get it in the wrong spot there, you're going to pay the price, but you know where those wrong spots are. And the other side of that coin is what happened at Shinnecock, and that's more like what happened at in 04. It happened at Shinnecock, and that's more like what happened at the Players. Yeah. When things get out of control and unfair, and you can't keep your golf ball in position with hitting good quality shots. Players are fine with you paying the price when you stray, but when you hit good quality shots, you should be rewarded no matter how difficult the test.
I'm holding you down because of statements for Rex. You get to leave now because you've been at the Players and you hosted Fairways
of
Life.
Get some time off.
Tripp, you're staying.
All right.
Rex, thanks for joining us. It has been close but no cigar for Jason Day in the U.S. Open. 4 top 10s in the last 5 years. Coming up, our Live From crew breaks down Day's chances at Oakmont. Plus, Tiger Woods has 14 major championships but none since 2008. Hear Tiger's thoughts on chasing down Jack's coveted record. That's when Golf Central continues.
Golf Central. is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball at the Players. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. Shipsticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.